Uh, so yeah, I think that it really did begin here. Um, I was studying international relations over at James Madison, and I got really interested in Latin America. I'd studied Spanish a little bit in high school, but I had no understanding of Latin America really, other than the language and the little bit of culture that you get in language courses at the secondary level. Um, so when I came here, I started learning about political systems in Latin America, and to be quite honest with you, I started learning about the role that the U.S. government has played in various countries in Latin America in less than a positive way in the past. And um, in Guatemala, there was a 36-year-long civil war, and it's all but considered a genocide. They were just mass slaughtering indigenous people, helicopters, machine guns, and the U.S. did play a role in that early on, and it eventually withdrew their support. And thanks to, in large part, to a woman, no one should be surprised. Rigoberta Menchú writes a book about her story, wins the Nobel Prize, and very quickly after that, enough press attention's been drawn to what's going on down there that they come to the table and sign the peace accords finally in 1996. So in my lifetime, there's genocide against this group of people that Muharabe now exists to support, and that conflict has been particularly hard on women as well, that have lost children and spouses and parents and things like that. And I started learning about all of those things here. There's no way I could have gone to Peace Corps in Guatemala without the understanding that I developed of Latin America here at taking courses at Michigan State, and particularly with the Center for Latin American and Caribbean Studies. The courses on government systems in Guatemala, understanding proportional representation. So you don't just vote for your candidate, you vote for a party. And that party has a list of people who then get into the government. And the presidential elections, if somebody doesn't win more than 50% plus one of the vote, then they go to a runoff election with the top two candidates. So the presidential elections aren't very similar to what's going on in the U.S., but they're also a lot more interesting when you understand those kinds of things. So being able to pick up a newspaper and chat with whomever, chat with the cab drivers in the Central Park about the elections, I understand, oh yeah, there's going to be a runoff, there's going to be a segunda vuelta, and that's going to be in a certain amount of time. And so, understanding that things can get a little bit heated around election times, you got to be ready for maybe some street protests. And we definitely saw quite a bit of that in Guatemala over the past year. So having that understanding helps you live abroad also when you're living in Latin America, and you understand things that way.